Hi, welcome to Cloud Aviation's educational video on the unmanned joining procedure. In this video, we are going to be looking at what is unmanned joining, why we do it, when we do it, and how we execute this maneuver. We're also going to be looking at any considerations to take when executing the unmanned joining procedure. Alright, so let's talk about what is the unmanned joining procedure. So basically, the unmanned joining procedure is joining any unmanned airfield both safely and efficiently. So let's break that down. With joining, we mean flying towards an airfield with the intention to go land at that airfield. Unmanned means that there is going to be no ATC, air traffic control, helping us navigate towards the airfield or informing us of other traffic on the airfield. When we say we want to do this safely, obviously, we want to be looking out for other traffic. Since there is no air traffic control that is going to help us, we are going to have to communicate with other traffic and keep a very good lookout for traffic in the area. And efficiency, we don't want to spend too much time flying around this airfield, but we never want to sacrifice safety to just get down to the airfield. So now you must be asking yourself, why? Why do we need to know how to join an airfield that is not manned? Aren't all airfields manned? Well, the answer is no. Not all airfields do have ATC that can sit there actively. Some airfields are secluded and not used that regularly, so that it justifies having air traffic control there the whole time. Other airfields, the air traffic control is also there for only a period of time during the day. So they're not there 24/7. So yes, there are lots of cases that we are going to have to join an airfield where there is no ATC. So, when are we busy doing the unmanned joining procedure? Well, the unmanned joining procedure starts about 5 nautical miles in a radius around the airfield that you want to join. Sometimes there are different distances published. You can look for these in the AIP. So now the big question, how? How do we actually do the unmanned joining procedure? So let's answer that question. Over here we have a little airfield. North facing up, south down, east to the right, and west to the left. We have a wind blowing from the east, as seen by our little windsock over here. So our active runway would be our easterly runway in this case. And for argument's sake, let's say this airfield has a standard left-hand circuit pattern. Now, the way we approach this unmanned joining procedure is we start around 5 nautical miles out. We change to the appropriate frequency for the airfield, and we broadcast to any traffic in the area that we are on the way in for joining and landing, and that we are going to be joining overhead for the unmanned joining procedure. So, the unmanned joining procedure starts at 2,000 feet above ground level. So that would be 1,000 feet above the circuit altitude, the standard circuit altitude. So when we are flying inwards towards the airfield, we won't be conflicting with any traffic that are established in the circuit at the airfield. So we fly to straight overhead the airfield, and we start looking for the windsock. The windsock is going to give us the indication of which runway is in use, and also if there's any crosswind that we should take note of. Remember, there is no air traffic control, so we need to find this information for ourselves. So for instance, if we are coming from the north, we'll fly down to overhead the runway, and we'll look at what the wind is doing. We'll observe an easterly wind blowing, and we would know that runway 09 would be in use. Okay. From there, we would then classify the southern side of the field as the dead side, and the northern side of the field as the live side of the field. So that just means the circuits are flown to the north, and the south is not used for any circuits. So we would fly to the dead side of the field and preferably to our runway threshold, the runway in use threshold. And from there, we will start descending down, remaining at the dead side of the field, descending down and following the current runway in use. When we are abeam the opposite runway's threshold, we will turn onto a crosswind. Do not try and turn the crosswind too late, because if you turn the crosswind abeam the opposing runway's threshold, you would not conflict with traffic that might be busy taking off on the runway in use. They would not be able to climb to circuit altitude by the end point of the runway. We turn onto a crosswind. From crosswind, we turn onto downwind as normal. From downwind, we turn onto a base, and from base, we turn onto final, and we land. And we land as normal. So what about if we are joining from the south? Well, if we're coming from the south, the live side and the dead side still remain as they are because it's a left-hand circuit and the wind has not changed. But now, once we are overhead the field, we might find ourselves in the live side of the field. We do not commence our descent. We turn around towards the threshold of our runway and we cross it towards the dead side and then fly parallel with the runway and descend as normal and do the procedure as normal. So this is basically how our pattern would look. Just once again, from the north to the dead side and around for a normal circuit. Now the other difference is with the unmanned joining procedure is the radio work. There's a couple of extra radio calls to do. As I already previously mentioned, once we are 5 miles in, we would call that we are coming inbound and we are going to execute the unmanned joining procedure at 2,000 feet AGL. Then once overhead the field and we observe the runway and we have planned this descent onto the field, we call overhead, observed a left-hand circuit in use for runway 09, and we'll join on a left-hand crosswind for runway 09. Then we descend as normal to circuit altitude, remembering to turn crosswind at the opposing runway's threshold at the end point of our runway, and a normal circuit from there. But we do a radio call on each leg of our circuit. So we do a radio call on crosswind, a radio call on downwind, a radio call on base, and a radio call on final. This is just to let any other traffic know where about we are in the circuit. Because, like I said, there is no ATC that can maintain control over this whole situation. Now that we've taken a look at flying the unmanned joining procedure and what it is and when we have to do it, let's take a look at some considerations to take when executing this procedure. So the first thing is proper planning. With this, I mean go and find out as much as possible from the aerodrome. Remember that there's no ATC that's going to help you once you get there. So you need to know everything about the airborne and the ground aspects of the aerodrome before you go on your flight. This will involve using the AIPs and NOTAMs. So make sure that you are comfortable with how and where to find these and find the information that you are looking for. The next point is any prior arrangements. With this I mean any fuel arrangements or travel arrangements. The reason for this is most of these unmanned airfields are very small and very secluded, and it is sometimes difficult to arrange these things when you're already there. So arrange these things beforehand. One big thing is if you file for search and rescue, remember to cancel it. You do have an hour, usually I file for an hour after my estimated time of arrival. So remember to phone and cancel your search and rescue. There is again no ATC that will do that for you in the area. And the last thing, these airfields, they generally are not well equipped when it comes to parking facilities. So make sure you have a way of securing your aircraft if you're going to stay there for the night. Thank you guys for watching the very first video from Cloud Aviation on educational videos on any aviation related topics. We'll be doing this once a week. I'd please like it if you guys like this video, like the page, share it to your friends. I'm sure they'll all enjoy it. Cheers.